High in the shadow of the towering Himalayas lies a world few have truly seen. A land where the air is thin, the valleys are deep, and life unfolds in rhythm with the mountains. Here in Nepal, far from the modern chaos of cities, lie small villages built on cliffs and slopes, surrounded by the white crowns of the world's highest peaks. Generations of families have lived here, carving a life out of stone, soil, and snow. In these remote settlements, every sunrise over the Himalayas tells the story of human endurance, faith, and harmony with nature. For the villagers of the highlands, survival is not just a daily effort. It is a centuries-old tradition passed from one hand to another. The people who call these mountains home are not driven by wealth or technology. Their wealth lies in community, in the soil that grows their food, and in the cattle that share their courtyards. From early morning chants to the sound of yak bells, life here remains tied to the pulse of the land. To understand Nepal's rural life is to witness a living museum, a reminder of how human civilization once thrived in perfect balance with nature. The Himalayas define Nepal's geography and its soul. Steep valleys, icy rivers, and terraces carved into mountainsides form the lifelines of thousands of villages. The soil is rocky, the wind fierce, and winters harsh, but for the people of these lands, this is home. Paths made of stone connect one village to another, often taking hours or even days to cross. Mules and yaks carry supplies along ancient trade routes, and the ringing of bells echoes across the valleys like timeless music. Each village is unique, shaped by altitude and climate. In the lower hills, forests and fertile land make agriculture possible. Higher up, where snow touches rooftops, survival depends on livestock and trade. The Himalayan range not only challenges the people, it defines their culture, architecture, and rhythm of life. Every home faces the rising sun. Every path leads to a temple or a prayer flag fluttering in the wind. Nature here is not a background, it is the main character. Daily life in the mountain villages. A typical day begins before sunrise. As the first light touches the snowy peaks, villagers gather around their small clay stoves. The smoke rises through wooden roofs as tea is brewed, a strong, salty butter tea that gives warmth and energy for the long day ahead. Children fetch water from streams, often walking for miles. Women tend to livestock while men prepare tools for work in the fields. Every hour of daylight is precious, and the entire family plays a role in keeping the household alive. Electricity is scarce in many areas, and roads are few. The sound of tractors or cars is rare. Instead, life moves at a pace that hasn't changed for centuries. Wooden plows drawn by oxen still turn the soil. People carry baskets on their backs with a strap across their forehead, a traditional method that shows both strength and patience. Agriculture and farming. The agriculture is the backbone of Nepal's rural economy. Most villagers depend entirely on their land for survival. Because of the mountainous terrain, they practice terrace farming, a technique where fields are cut into steps along the slopes, preventing soil erosion and making use of every inch of land. These terraces look like giant green staircases climbing the mountains. The main crops grown vary by altitude. In the lower hills, villagers grow rice, maize, and millet. In the cooler, higher regions, barley, potatoes, and buckwheat are common. Each crop has its own story. Rice, the symbol of prosperity, requires careful watering through a system of small channels that guide mountain streams into the fields. During planting season, the entire village joins together, singing folk songs as they plant seedlings in the muddy water. Farming here is not just labor, it's a celebration of life. Harvest season brings festivals and gatherings. Families work side by side, reaping the rewards of months of effort. In the crisp mountain air, you can hear the rhythmic thud of grains being threshed and the laughter of children running through golden fields. Every harvest strengthens the bonds of community, and even the simplest meal is shared with gratitude. Cattle and dairy farming. In the highlands of Nepal, cattle farming is essential. Cows, yaks, and goats are not just animals, they are lifelines. They provide milk, cheese, butter, and manure for farming. In many families, livestock is considered a form of wealth and security. The relationship between humans and animals here is built on respect and care. The yak, in particular, is an icon of the Himalayas. Strong and sure-footed, it can survive the coldest winters and climb where no vehicle can reach. Villagers use yak milk to make butter and cheese, which they trade or sell in nearby markets. Butter is also used in lamps inside monasteries and homes, symbolizing light and purity. Early mornings often begin with the gentle sound of cowbells as herders lead their animals to graze on mountain slopes. This daily ritual has continued for hundreds of years, linking human survival to the rhythm of nature. Culture and traditions. Culture in Nepal's mountain villages is as old as the land itself. It is a mix of Hindu and Buddhist traditions, shaped by legends, faith, and the environment. Villagers believe that the mountains are sacred, the dwelling places of gods and spirits. Every festival, prayer, and dance reflects gratitude to nature and the divine. Homes are decorated with prayer flags that flutter in the wind, carrying blessings across valleys. Life is guided by the seasons and by rituals. From birth to marriage to harvest, each stage of life is celebrated with color and ceremony. Traditional songs tell stories of love, bravery, and devotion. Handicrafts like weaving and wood carving are passed down through generations, preserving skills that define local identity. Despite modern influences, the people remain deeply rooted in their traditions. Their faith in the mountains as protectors and their belief in community as strength. Rural village. Weddings in Nepal's villages are a beautiful reflection of culture and community. They often last several days, filled with songs, dances, and blessings. In the mountain regions, marriage is not just a union between two people, but between two families. The bride and groom wear traditional clothing, vibrant fabrics, jewelry, and garlands made of marigolds. The entire village gathers to celebrate, bringing food, music, and gifts. The ceremony usually takes place under open skies or inside simple decorated courtyards. Religious chants, prayers, and traditional instruments like the model drum set the rhythm of celebration. For villagers, marriage is not only about love, it's about continuity, responsibility, and harmony. The laughter, the dancing, and the shared meals all remind everyone that happiness here is a collective experience. The traditional farmer market. Every week, in towns and large villages, a farmer's market comes alive. It is more than just a place to buy and sell. It's a social and cultural gathering. Farmers bring baskets filled with vegetables, grains, dairy, and handmade crafts. Women in colorful dresses bargain cheerfully, while elders exchange stories. These markets are lifelines of the rural economy and a reflection of Nepal's communal spirit. The market is also a window into tradition. Hand-woven baskets, woolen clothes, pottery, and homemade honey are sold alongside spices and fresh produce. Children watch the crowd with curiosity, learning early how trade and cooperation sustain their world. As the day ends, traders pack their goods and start long walks back home, often crossing rivers and trails before nightfall. These markets connect isolated mountain villages to the broader world, keeping ancient trade alive in the modern age. Honey harvesting in the Himalayas. One of Nepal's most fascinating traditions is honey harvesting, a dangerous and sacred ritual practiced by the Gurung tribes in certain Himalayan regions. The honey hunters climb steep cliffs, often hundreds of feet high, using handmade bamboo ladders to reach wild beehives. These bees, known as giant Himalayan bees, produce a special kind of honey with medicinal and even hallucinogenic properties. The harvest is a blend of bravery, skill, and spirituality. Before climbing, hunters perform prayers to appease the mountain spirits. Smoke is used to calm the bees, and baskets are lowered to collect the dripping honeycomb. It's a breathtaking sight, Men hanging against vertical rock faces, surrounded by swarms of golden bees, carrying on a tradition that is centuries old. The honey collected is shared within the community, a symbol of respect for nature's gifts and human courage. Winter life in the mountains. When winter descends upon the Himalayas, life changes dramatically. Snow covers the paths, rivers freeze, and temperatures drop below zero. For the villagers, winter is both a challenge and a time of rest. Fields lie barren under snow, and most work moves indoors. Families gather around the fire, weaving wool, preparing food for the coming months, and telling stories of ancestors and spirits. Travel becomes nearly impossible, so communities depend on what they have stored. Dried vegetables, grains, and dairy products sustain them until spring. Despite the cold, there is warmth in togetherness. Children play in the snow, and families celebrate winter festivals like Losar, marking the new year with dances, songs, and prayer ceremonies. Community and spiritual life. Religion and community are inseparable in Nepal's rural life. Each village has small temples, shrines, or Buddhist stupas, often set against stunning backdrops of peaks and valleys. Early mornings begin with the sound of bells and chants as villagers offer prayers for health and good harvest. Festivals mark the agricultural calendar, blending joy with devotion. The unity of people during these celebrations reflects their shared belief that harmony with nature brings prosperity. Monasteries play an important role, serving as centers of learning and culture. Monks teach children to read and write, and elders pass down oral histories and folklore. In every prayer, there's a message of gratitude. Gratitude for the mountains that shelter them, the rivers that feed their fields, and the forests that give them life. The rhythm of the seasons. In Nepal's mountain villages, time is measured not by clocks, but by the changing seasons. Spring brings blooming rhododendrons and renewed energy for planting. Summer is the season of hard work and growth, when rains feed the terraces and crops stretch toward the sky. Autumn is harvest time, the season of plenty, gratitude, and festivals. And winter, though harsh, teaches patience and resilience. Each season shapes how people live, what they eat, and how they celebrate. This natural rhythm has guided generations, creating a deep awareness of balance and respect for the environment. The villagers know that nature provides, but only when cared for. Their way of life is not about conquering nature. It is about living within its flow. The spirit of the Himalayas. Life in the mountain villages of Nepal is a story of simplicity and strength. It is a reminder of humanity's deep connection with nature and with each other. In a world that rushes toward modernity, these Himalayan communities preserve a slower, wiser rhythm of existence, one rooted in gratitude, cooperation, and endurance. Theirs is not an easy life, but it is a meaningful one. Every prayer flag fluttering against the cold wind carries the same message: peace, harmony, and hope. The mountains stand eternal, watching over generations that have learned to live with humility beneath their shadow. To witness life in a Nepalese mountain village is to glimpse a truth often forgotten, that happiness does not come from abundance, but from balance. From the fields carved into stone to the smiles shared in the snow, the villages of Nepal remain a living heartbeat of the Himalayas, timeless, resilient, and profoundly human. As the golden light fades behind the Himalayan peaks, the mountain villages of Nepal fall into a quiet stillness. The wind carries the scent of wood smoke, and prayer flags flutter softly against the twilight sky. In these moments, you feel the heart of rural Nepal, strong, humble, and deeply connected to the land. For generations, life here has moved to the rhythm of nature. Every sunrise brings new hope, and every sunset reminds the people to give thanks. The farmers who till the terraces, the herders who guide their cattle, the mothers who cook over open fires, all share the same unspoken wisdom: that peace is not found in wealth, but in simplicity. The Himalayas test every soul that lives beneath their shadow, yet the people endure with quiet grace. Their laughter echoes through valleys that have seen centuries pass unchanged. Here, the modern world feels far away, replaced by a deeper sense of balance between man, mountain, and spirit. Visiting a Nepalese mountain village is like stepping back in time into a world where tradition still breathes. The narrow stone paths, the warm hospitality, and the endless snow peaks remind us that true beauty lies not in luxury, but in life's small moments of meaning. If life ever gives you the chance, come and see it for yourself, the timeless charm of Nepal's mountain villages. And if this journey touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Wandering Roots. Stay connected as we continue exploring the world's most beautiful and remote places, where every story reminds us how deeply we all belong to this earth.